everyone, and welcome to Exclusive Today. And I'm so excited about this because we get one of Oklahoma's own.
That's it.
Here.
We're real close to home for me.
Yes. And I love talking with people from Oklahoma. It's just something about it.
Yeah.
You know? So, Mr. Riley Harrison Clark.
That's me.
Tribute. I almost cannot even call you Riley Clark. It's Riley Harrison Clark.
Listen, there's a lot of them that can't call me Riley Clark, I think. You know, I never used that until I joined. The very first date that I did with Tribute, we were in Pennsylvania, and from stage, I'd never really used my middle name for anything.
Okay.
My mother did, obviously, but and from stage, Gary introduced me, and he said Riley Harrison Clark, and it just kind of stuck. So that's what it is now.
Yes, singing, using everywhere.
I know it. Yep. They only print.
So let's find
Riley
out a little
Harrison
about you. Where were you born?
I was actually born in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Okay. But I mean, brought over about 3 days later to Oklahoma. So I was born in Springfield, but I lived my whole life up until about 9 years ago.
Okay. All right. So growing up, what were some really prevalent influences on you in gospel music, or maybe any music?
Sure. Well, Southern gospel music, as I was growing up, was not super heavy in my area.
Right.
So I wasn't very familiar with it. Now, what I was familiar with is Gaither and the Homecoming videos on TV.
That greatly helped.
And so David Phelps, Larnell Harris, Steve Green, those were vocal influences for me. I've always loved the full voice tenor singing. So. Yep.
So how did you really get started in Southern gospel music as far as like with groups?
Sure. Well, I started Steve Hurst with the Steve Hurst School of Music.
Okay, I was actually going to ask about that.
Yeah,
so,
Steve Hurst, he started, I was a student of his, the age of 13 I started working with Steve. He would come to our church 3 or 4 times a year, work with our choir. We had a large choir at that time, and he would work with us, and then we would turn around and he'd work with me in between sessions with the choir, and after that, I started going to the school, and then at the school is where I started being really introduced into Southern gospel as it is, beyond, Gaither Vocal Band and anything I'd seen on TV. So I knew I got to build relationships with Tribute, the guys, Mark Trammell, and the Tallies, and numerous. So, that's kind of where it started for me, was through Steve and his school.
So how many groups have you been with?
I've only been with Tribute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so that's
18 years old. I started with Tribute.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So how did that really come about?
Well, again, I had met the guys through the School of Music. They were coaches of mine.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, Gary was never a coach of mine. Brian, the previous tenor, and Josh had worked with me. Yes. So when Brian pulled off the road, Brian mentioned to Gary, hey, I don't know if you remember him, but Riley Clark, maybe somebody you want to look at. So they called me and said, would you be interested? And I said, sure. So, and I just kind of packed all my stuff, moved up to Nashville in about 3 days, and started. I hopped on the bus thinking that Brian was going to be on the bus, and I was just going to kind of see what was going on, I'd never been around it. And again, I'm only 18. And nope, Brian never got on the bus. It was just me. And that started, we did a big northeastern tour up there, so Maine and Pennsylvania and Boston.
So that's something I don't think I've ever heard talked really about in Southern gospel music. If you really want to be looked at by a quartet or a group, you might think of attending Steve Hurst, possibly.
Yes. Oh, no, that's actually, it's very smart.
I've never heard anyone really say that.
I've taught there for numerous, about 10 years. I think this year may have been my 9 years maybe. And there are a lot of artists, a lot of other groups, managers of groups and agencies that will call us because they know that we're familiar with the school and many students that come through there. So if there's a group change, personnel change, we are some of the first that people may call because they know that. And I'm a vocal coach outside of this. I have numerous students outside of being on the road with Tribute. So. Yep.
Now, your newest CD, which we already talked a little about, quartets.
Yeah.
So how did that really come about?
Well, we released Here For You, and that's a lot of obviously original songs. It's a new national project, which, by the way, we're getting ready to go in the studio for another one. That's just kind of a side note. That's what I was actually going to ask. Well, we'll get to that then.
Oh,
Here For You was released, and we knew that we wanted to introduce more of the old quartet stuff because at that point we didn't really sing a lot of old quartet stuff, and we're all about. Tribute Quartet was founded in the hopes of preserving the heritage of this music and promoting the future of it. So we felt like we were doing a whole lot of promoting, but there wasn't a lot of every night preserving the old music. So we were in Visalia, California, standing around the table with our A&R director, Scott Godsey, and Gerald Wolfe, and we just kind of threw the idea out, and Gerald said, yeah, I'd love to be a part. And that's kind of how it came about. And we hope to do another quartet tribute album. So.
Oh, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
Speaking of the new project, so you're in and actually recording.
We're not recording yet. We'll be going in a little bit later this year to start tracking, and we're in the listening process now. So we're getting a lot of
well,
songs
I
together.
can greatly tell you, I hear for you some tremendous, in my opinion, song selections.
Thank you.
I knew it was kind of by a variation of writers.
Oh, yes. There are numerous writers on the Here For You project, and that's what we review. I mean, it's safe to say that we review a little over 400, 500 songs for one album. That's how many were generally pitched, and we will listen to everything that is pitched to us. Some things that stylistically they're not us, or they're not what we're going for this next time, so you can pass on some of them quickly. Others we kind of mull around a little bit.
I actually heard a songwriter saying last night, a man walked up to him and asked, do you ever co-write with simple songs? And he's like, well, I listen to them, and who knows, it might be something we can connect on. So you never know.
It's very true.
Now, I know many times you share an altar call, you yourself kind of do in tribute. So what has impressed upon you just as kind of the tenor singer to begin to share that?
Truthfully, it just happened. Gary had for some reason, and to be honest, I can't remember, he had came off the road for a couple weekends, and so we had somebody filling in, and Anthony doesn't talk a lot from stage, and Josh is generally busy playing at that moment in the concert, and we're not obviously going to let the new guy take over because we don't know. So I started taking that, and then when Gary came back, it just kind of happened that I stayed at that moment. And to be honest, I mean, that's my heart. I love to sing quartet music. I love to sing four parts, but I love to share Jesus. And how can I deny the opportunity to anyone sitting out there what I've known to be the most amazing experience of my life in coming to know Christ. So I don't know. I mean, it just kind of happened. I don't know if there's a reason.
The reason I kind of asked is I was wondering, are you a preacher? Because it makes you sound...
sure. Well, don't. That's been asked of me a lot here lately in the last few years. So I'm not sure, but it may end up being the case at one point. I don't know.
That's true. So when, let's just say when Tribute's asked to come and sing and minister, what exactly is the heart that Tribute really kind of tries to present in their music?
Well, we try our best to have a balanced program, first of all. You have to bring joy. You have to make them laugh. Because if you can't connect to them in laughter, then you're not going to be able to connect to them at the end of the concert when you're wanting to tell them the most important part.
Oh, and that's
true. We like to have a balanced program altogether. But we also, as much as, again, we love to sing, as much as we love to share this with people, we want people to know there's hope. We're singing everybody in our concerts. If they're not broken now, they will be, or they have been, and they're trying to get over it. We want to share hope. We want to share love. We want to share joy and peace that comes in knowing Jesus. And we feel like that's an honor for us. So that's our focus. We love to have a good time. We love to sing. We love to, somebody asked one time, somebody asked, do you guys entertain or minister? Well, my answer is yes. Because we do. There's no way they can trust me if they don't know that I can laugh with them. So we just try to have a balanced program. Share Jesus.
So I got to ask about your family. Because I know you're big.
Sure.
Right now you were with some family tonight. So tell us about your family.
Some of my family. Well, all of my family still lives in northeastern Oklahoma, where I'm from.
What town is that?
Fairland.
Fairland
is where I'm. Very northeastern corner, up by Grove and Miami on Grand Lake.
Yes. I've never heard of the place, but I know Grove and Miami.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't stop through Fairland, I assure you. There's nothing there. But that's where I was raised, and so my family came out tonight. Obviously, Broken Arrows, where we're at tonight, and wasn't too far away. And then back home in Nashville, I have two kiddos: a 4-year-old little boy, Colvin, and I have a 2.5-year-old little girl, Charlie Ray, and have a wife. Have a wife, Megan. She kind of holds it all together for us. They're back in Nashville, so.
All right. Well, thank you. Now, this is something that's very important to me, and I think to a lot of other people. What advice would you really give to young people wanting to start out in, let's just say, Southern gospel music, or maybe even the ministry, something like that?
Well, first of all, really seek the Lord and know what He's called you to do. Because you may love to sing, but if it's not what God's called you to do, even though you may be happy for a moment, you will eventually become very miserable.
That's a good point.
So always focus and see where God wants you, where God has placed you, what He's called you to do, because it could be singing. And generally, if you have a dream to sing, you didn't just wake up with it. It's been instilled in you, and I do believe that the Lord will cultivate that for you. So first of all, focus on God and figure out what it is that He wants of you and He needs of you, because it's not that He needs us to help change the world, but He wants to use us to help change the world. And the other advice is there's nothing too big. A lot of people stop when they get older and older because they feel like, well, I've got to go to school, I can't just sing. It's very possible that you could just sing. I mean, do what you need to do and to grow and to allow yourself different opportunities in life, but nothing, is too big that you can't have goals and reach for them. Again, I'm from Fairland, Oklahoma.
That's true.
And I've sang on every stage in gospel music there is to sing, and I've done it all over the world.
Wow.
I was a grave digger before this, and from grave digger to gospel singer, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. Just try your hardest to seek God and remain in the center of His will, because that's where you'll have peace. And you can't live without peace very long.
Oh, no, you cannot.
Yeah, so.
Tremendous advice, really. One final question.
Sure.
You know, the rapture of the church could occur at any time, any moment. We're so close.
Sure.
But if you had to go by the grave, which we all could at any time, any age, you know, what would you really want your life to have said to people you were able to live before and sing before?
That I was real. That I was sincere. That I was human, striving to be as best as I could, because that's all I can do.
Right.
I'm broken just like anybody else. I'm seeking every day for something new to come from the Lord.
Oh, yes.
I have turmoil. I've been through life as life is. There's nothing different between me and you.
Right.
And, you know, the Word says that there was nothing different between the Jews and the Gentiles.
Yes.
All have come short.
Yes.
So what I would want my life to say is that He was real, that He struggled, but He persevered because He knew who God was, and because He knew the place that God had in His life.
Press towards the mark of the high calling.
Yeah, I want to be an influence. I want to be an influence all over the world in every way. I want everything that I do to be an influence that brings the glory to God and brings people to Him. And again, shares hope, because there is hope.
Yes.
There's a reason to wake up in the morning and have a smile on your face.
Yes.
So that's what I would want my life to show is that I'm real, but I'm ready. I'm ready to see more people know about Jesus.
Yes.
He's changed my life. I want people to know that I want people to know that He has.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so.
That's what we're all about, is trying to get the message out.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes. And thank you, everyone. Riley Harrison.
Thank you so much.
Oh, one more thing. Sometimes I forget to ask this.
Okay.
How can people go about contacting Tribute Quartet?
Tribute Quartet, TributeQuartet.com. All social media, Tribute is on, so it would be TributeQuartet.com/Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. You can find us on any of that. We try and be very involved in social media. So TributeQuartet.com, our agency, you can reach our agency there on the website. If you wanted to get a hold of us and maybe ring us in for an event or something like that. So.
Hey, if they're in your area, come see them.
Definitely so. You can find our music on iTunes and everything else. So look us up, check us out, and follow us.
Everyone, we'll see you next time on Exclusive.